Golden Radio Hour.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic, the non-alcoholic hair tonic that contains lanolin. Wild Root Cream Oil, again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
It's only me from over the sea.
Oh, Sam, how was it at the beach?
Same as always, foggy.
Did you go in?
Well, I was up to my neck from the first rumble. If you mean did I go in the water, I did.
Was it cold?
I didn't notice. I was too busy landing a corpse.
Oh, Sam, what a coincidence. I was just reading my new library book.
Yeah?
And it's all about a body in the water, pushed over a cliff. And there's a strangest girl in it with a strange mother.
Figures.
And she drinks, the girl, and runs away with a chauffeur. That rich people.
They can't do that. They're stealing my material.
Oh, no, Sam, no. It's by Owen Fitzstephen. He's very well thought of. Mother always understands his plot.
Not tonight, she won't. Stay where you are, Angel. I'll be right down to dictate my report on the critical author caper.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. You know as well as I do, fellas, your hair is one of the first things any gal notices. So it's really important to keep your hair spruced up right all the time. The answer? Why, of course. Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. I have a hunch, fellas, she'll help herself to another look if you're using Wild Root. Get Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic in bottles or the handy new tube. It's again and again the choice of men who put good grooming first. Later in this program, we'll have an important announcement. Listen for it. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in the adventures of Sam Spade.
I'm looking over
Oh.
the phone.
Oh, Sam.
Yeah, come on in. Let's get this over with.
Oh, can you wait till I finish this chapter? Just a page to go. The detective had just found this girl in a sordid rooming house. He had this fight with her boyfriend and boinged him.
Boinged him?
And now butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. But I don't trust her.
What's the name of the book?
Morgue Fruit.
Morgue Fruit.
His last was A Spindly Stiff. That was about this neurotic nurse who was in love with her employer.
Effie, how
And she
long
got
have
a-
you been reading this kind of trash?
What's not trash, Sam? Oh, he really makes his characters live. And I love his detective. He's real hard-boiled, like in Dashiell Hammett.
Ashel, damn it. Mark your place and come in.
All right, Sam.
Oh, dear. Ready?
Yes, Sam. Oh, I can hardly wait.
That's the way I like you, eager.
To finish the chapter, I mean.
Please.
I wonder what she's up to. She's guilty, of course.
Of course, but what of?
You can read it when I'm finished. Oh, my goodness, we've got a report to get out, and here we are chattering about books. Date, August?
I will give the date.
Yes, Sam.
Date? Fill it in. To Missing Persons Bureau, San Francisco Police. Attention, Sergeant Schwartz, from Samuel Spade, license number 127596. Subject, Gabrielle Leggett. Dear Dave, I should have handed it over to you at the start, but you know me, I'm greedy. I cashed the check she'd sent me as a retainer without consulting my better judgment. Gave the money to Effie to pay bills without batting an eye. Borrowed a dime car fare from the corner newsboy without collateral. And arrived in front of the Leggett Mansion on Nob Hill without the foggiest notion of what I had been retained for.
I'm Gertrude Leggett, Mr. Spade. It's about my stepdaughter, Gabrielle. She's been missing since the funeral.
Whose funeral was that, Mrs. Leggett?
My husband, Gabrielle's father. That was nearly 3 weeks ago. She came to me afterwards and said she was going down to Quesada, to our country place, for a few days, that she wanted to be alone with her grief. But I discovered that she never arrived at Quesada. Do I make myself clear, Mr. Spade?
Yeah, except for one thing. Why do you want her back?
First, she may do something to disgrace me. She'll undoubtedly try her best to do so. Secondly, unless I get her signature to some papers, in accordance with her father's will, I can't go on living in this house. Furthermore...
That's okay. You've convinced me. Now, when she left, what did she take with her?
Just one piece of light luggage, and her liquor case, of course. She drinks, you know. Well, it's not my place to disapprove. I merely thought it might help you to know.
Well, we could case all the bars in town, but it'd take a lot of time and a lot of money. Besides, I'm on the wagon.
Well, you might talk to Eric, my chauffeur. He drove her to the station, or says he did.
Where do I find him?
Let's see. 10 o'clock. He'll be loitering down the hall somewhere in the neighborhood of the linen closet, helping the upstairs maid fold the sheets. I'd knock first if I were you and avoid embarrassment.
Thanks for the tip. Oh, mind if I have a look at your stepdaughter's room?
Eric will give you the key. I'm not allowed one.
Figures.
Larry.
Oh, baby.
Sorry, you great Excuse me, sir. Thank you for your kind assistance, Mr. Collins.
It's okay, Myrtle. Anytime. And yes, sir.
You Eric?
Collinson, what can I do for you?
I'd like the key to Miss Gabrielle's room.
You the law?
Why? You expecting some?
The old lady's been threatening to yell cop.
She decided to whisper instead.
Oh, private dick.
You catch on fast, lover boy.
Okay, I'll let you in her room. Come on.
Mrs. Leggett says you drove Gabrielle to the station.
She says that, does she?
Isn't that what you told her?
I'm not telling you what I told anyone.
Search yourself.
After you.
Mm-mm.
What's eating you?
Nothing at all. Just want some privacy.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I'm responsible.
Go help Myrtle. Give me those keys.
Oh, listen, you keep it.
Blow.
Hey, let me in. Still have your license?
Her room was, shall we say, untidy. The mirrored dressing table was chipped around the edges, and ranged helter-skelter across it between two polo pony bookends was a mess of books. 3 odd volumes of the Harvard 5-foot shelf, a horse breeder's gazette, and a bunch of detective novels. I picked one up and opened it to the title page. It was called Morgue Fruit, and it was by Owen Fitzstephen, author of The Corpulent Cadaver, The Spindly Stiff, and The Kiss-Off. It was autographed to the author's great and good friend, the late Edgar Leggett. The signature looked familiar, but it didn't look like a lead. Neither did anything else in the room. I started to unlock the door with the key on the ring I grabbed away from Eric, and the light caught the smooth side of a Christopher medal. It was engraved for Eric, forever, Gabby. When Forever Eric went off duty that night, he went across town. The trail ended at a crummy, broken-down rooming house out in the Fillmore. He let himself in with a key and climbed the stairs. I waited until he was out of sight. In more time than it takes to tell, the door cracked open and a nose that could only belong to a landlady raised it out at me. She was gumming a sen-sen.
What do you want?
They get settled in all right?
They ain't nobody settling in on me.
Never touched me. You got me wrong, Mom. I meant the newlyweds. Did they raise the rent money all right?
Oh, them. Raise it and spend it. He's a Dick Smither.
Dick Smithers.
Stocks it up all day and throws the dead soldiers out the window. And they call it a honeymoon. Who are you?
I'm her ex-husband, darling. I came to pay her the back alimony I owe her.
Well, give it to me. I'll see she gets it.
Oh, no, you don't.
No, now, don't you come pushing in here.
Quiet.
It's after hours. Don't allow callers in here after 10 o'clock. House rule.
Shut up.
Well, I don't.
What's their room number? Now, give it to me or I'll shake it out of you, darling.
212.
212.
And if it weren't for these new uppers, I'd let you try it.
Oh, is that what those are? Thank you, Grand Duchess Marie.
Smart Alec. No wonder you can't hang on to a woman.
You're so right.
You drove her to drink.
I did not.
Alimony's still good for you, young whippersnapper.
Who is it?
Western Union.
All right, let me... I told you to stay away. Now beat it.
Eric, what is it?
Look, Eric, I don't want any trouble, but I'm coming in.
Over my dead body.
Eric?
Get back in the room, Gabby. Now, look, I won't let you hurt her, so...
Now,
so
look,
help-
Collinson, don't
No,
make me do it.
don't
I
get
don't
wise.
want to. Okay, I'm sorry.
Eric! Eric! What have you done to him?
Nothing a bucket of cold water can't cure. Sit down. I want to talk to you.
Who are you?
Sam Spade. I'm a private detective. Your stepmother hired me to find you.
Oh? You know why she wants to find me?
Do you?
She wants to kill me. To
killed my father, now she'll kill me.
Can you prove that?
My father never had a day's illness in his life. He could drink 3 quarts of brandy in any evening. Do you believe a man like that could die of heart failure?
Frankly, I could.
Now she's starting the same kind of talk about me. She wants to railroad me to the insane asylum. Do I seem crazy to you?
No. A little nervous, maybe. This idea you have about your father's death. Talk some more, will you?
All right. I'll tell you the whole thing. But I gotta have a drink first. Hey, I can't get the top off. Give me a hand, will you?
Sure. You need a corkscrew for this one.
Yeah, I think there's one down there in the cupboard.
I don't see one.
Back in the corner. A little farther. There.
No, there's nothing. Hey! I dreamed I was a character in a detective story. The title of the story was Morgue Fruit, and the author, a man named Fitzstephen, was trying to figure out a way to turn me into a red herring before knocking off his number one suspect. I tried to tell him it's against the rules to make your detective a red herring, but he said it was a new kind of murder yarn, and it didn't matter anyway because there wasn't even a victim. That's what he thought.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Now, here's important news on good grooming. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. And here's the announcement we promised you. Now you can get Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, in a generous new 25-cent size on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. Get Wild Root Cream Oil again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. And now, back to the critical author caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
When I came to, it had came the dawn, and I was still a character in a detective story, and I felt more like a red herring than I had in my dream. I had dragged myself across my own trail and wound up no place. My quarry had fled, leaving nothing behind but empty bottles with fingerprints on them. I lifted the few and hustled over to the Bureau of Identification. Half an hour later, I got the report. They were mine. All mine. I wondered what a detective novelist would make of that. I decided to find out. I had met Owen Fitzstephen several years back in Seattle when I was digging dirt on a chain of fake mediums. He was plowing the same field for literary material, and we pooled forces. I got more out of the combination than he did since he knew the spook racket inside out. I cleaned up my job in a couple of weeks, and we parted friends. His San Francisco apartment was on the 6th floor of the St. Mark. He was standing at its door, holding out a lean hand to greet me when I got there.
Well, you're looking fit, Sam. Little red in the face.
Yes, the red herring I ate last night. How's the literary grift go?
You haven't been reading me?
No, where'd you get that funny idea?
Oh, there was something in your tone, as in the voice of one who has bought an author for a couple of dollars. I suppose you're still hounding the unfortunate evildoer?
Yeah, that's how I happened to look you up. You autographed a book for Edgar Leggett.
Oh, yes. Morgue Fruit. Distressingly prophetic.
What do you know about that family?
Oh, what have they been up to now?
How well you know the girl, Gabrielle?
Well, quite well, since she's a duplicate of her father. She has brains, but there's something black in her. Something she doesn't want to think about but can't forget. She's a neurotic who keeps her body sensitive and ready. I don't know what for. While she drugs her mind with drink and lunatic notions. Yet she's cold and she's sane. If I had something I wanted to forget, I'd anesthetize my mind directly, leave my body stay strong and ready.
I hope you don't think any of this stuff means anything to me.
Oh, yes. I remember you now. You were always like that. Tell me what's up while I try to find one-syllable words for you.
You know the fellow that drives for him?
Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was released from Folsom and Leggett's custody when he was 18 years old. Murdered his father. Nice kid. What about him?
Mrs. Leggett hired me to find Gabrielle. I found her with Eric in a rooming house out in the Fillmore. She begged me to save her from her stepmother's murderous schemes, then she knocked me cold.
Well, that's trivial, dull. I've been thinking of the Leggett family in terms of Dumas, and you bring me a piece of Jim Crackery out of O. Henry. If I were writing this, Gabrielle would kill her stepmother, or dupe Eric into doing it for her. No, that won't do. Not sufficient motive. Murder has to have a motive, you know.
Why? She's insane, isn't she?
I wonder. Are you saying that carelessly, or do you really think she's off?
Well, I don't know. She's got a kind of a wild look about her. Her eyes shift from green to brown and back without ever settling on one color. How much have you turned up on her in your snooping around, Owen?
Are you who make your living snooping, sneering at my curiosity about people and my attempts to satisfy it?
No, we're different, Owen. I do mine with the object of putting people in jail, and I get paid for it, though not as much as I should.
But I do mine with the object of putting people in books, and I get paid for it, though not as much as I should.
Yeah, but what good does that do?
Well, what good does putting them in jail do?
Well, relieves congestion. You put enough people in jail, and cities wouldn't have any traffic problems, n'est-ce pas?
Well, then all you have to do is to wait till one of them kills the other and put the survivor in jail. It's simple.
Yeah, but who's going to kill who?
Perhaps they both have plans, both Gabrielle and her stepmother. Looks as if you'd have to guard both of them.
I think I'll settle for my client. As far as Gabrielle's concerned, her husband ought to be able to watch out for her.
Her what?
Husband? She and Eric got married.
Oh. Well, now there you are. You didn't tell me anything about that. Lord knows how much else there is you haven't told me. Pardon me. Don't go away.
Telegram. Sign here.
Oh, thank you. There you are.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I wonder what... Good Lord, this is positively corny. Listen to this, Spade. I appeal to you as a friend of my dead husband. Come immediately, Sunset Hotel, Quesada. Trouble, danger. Do not communicate. Gabrielle must not know. Signed, Gertrude Leggett. Spade.
Yeah?
Did you have this wire sent to me as a prank?
I was just going to ask you if you sent it to yourself as a prank.
I have it. The key to the whole thing. It's a red herring.
I didn't think Fitzstephen would be able to hold out very long against his professional curiosity, and I didn't imagine he thought I would. I caught the next bus for Quesada. Quesada is a one-hotel town pasted on the rocky side of a young mountain that slopes into the Pacific Ocean some 80 miles from San Francisco. I got there at 11-something that night, stepped down from the bus, and crossed the street to the Sunset Hotel.
All right. Keep your shirt on.
Mrs. Leggett registered here?
What's your name?
Owen Fitzstephen.
Oh, she left a message for you. Said for you to wait right here and don't leave till she gets back.
Yeah, she say where she was going?
Oh, it's probably over visiting with her daughter and new son-in-law, over to the cove.
How do you get there?
Well, you'll never be able to find it at night unless you went all the way around by the East Road.
Yeah.
Then, I'm sure, unless you knew the country.
Well, how do you get there in the daytime?
Well, you go down this street. You take the fork on the ocean side and follow that up along the cliff. It's easily enough found in the daytime, but you never in the world. You wouldn't be able to find it at night.
Okay. Heard you the first time. So I waited until morning. Stupid me. I found the road out to the point, but it had never really been a road. The side of the ledge became steeper and steeper until the path was simply a narrow shelf on the face of the cliff. The cliff that sheared off 150 feet or more to ravel out into the ocean. A breeze from the general direction of China was pushing fog over the top of the cliff, making a noisy lather of seawater at the bottom. Rounding a corner where the cliff was steepest, I chucked my cigarette over the edge and watched it spin downwards. And that's when I saw it. I had to go waist deep into the Pacific to lift the body. I got my hands under the armpits, found solid ground for my feet, and dragged it up beyond the high tide mark. It was Gertrude Leggett. Somebody came staggering down the beach to meet us.
She dead?
Yeah, Gabrielle, she's dead.
Oh, the witch is dead. Hey, take me back to town, will you? Buy me a drink, huh?
Sit down there. Sit down.
What's the big idea? Don't you know I'm sick?
Somehow I don't think you're that sick. I think you could make some sense.
Sense? That's a laugh. You don't know me. I've never been able to think clearly the way other people do. No matter what I try to think about, there's a fog that tries to get between me and it. You understand how horrible I can become? Going through life like
Nuts.
that?
Nobody thinks clearly, no matter what they pretend. Thinking's a dizzy business. A matter of catching as many of those foggy glimpses as you can and fitting them together the best you can. Trouble with you is you've been enjoying your misery. You've been so busy trying to prove that you're nuts, it's a wonder you haven't really driven yourself nuts.
How do you know I haven't?
Because you're too anxious to admit it.
All right, I'm sane if you want it that way. I'm just evil. There's something black inside me.
What was that again?
Something black. Everybody knows that about my family. My father, too.
Who told you that?
I always knew it. They say my real mother killed herself. But I know better. I know how to open the drawer where she keeps the gun. Every day, Gertrude lies on Mother's bed, and we play Killing the Witch.
Yeah?
And she comes in the night and bends over my crib. And she's changed herself so she looks like Mother instead of the witch. But I know better, and I hold up the gun with both hands. Very hard to pull with both hands. It's very hard to pull the trigger. But I must do it or the witch will eat me up. And then there's a big noise and red all over. And I can't get out. I can't get out.
Now listen to me. You were beginning to make some sense. Now don't run away from it. Gertrude was lying on your mother's bed. That's your stepmother?
Yeah. She was my nurse. She married Father.
Not so fast. How old were you when your mother died?
4. 4.5.
Did your father know about the game with a gun?
No, I don't think so.
Did anybody?
Gertrude said I must never tell anyone, because they'd send me away. And I never did. Not till I grew up. I was with Owen Fitzstephen.
Yeah.
I had a lot to drink. I told him. After that, he began seeing Gertrude. When finally my father died. But it didn't do her any good, because Owen really loved me.
Now, watch it. Now, let's get this straight. You'll have to straighten it out again later on with a doctor to help you. This is to help me. When you were a little child, Gertrude taught you that killing the witch game to use you as a murder weapon against your mother. Then she filled you full of ideas of guilt and fear so you'd keep quiet about it. When you told the story to Owen, he blackmailed your stepmother into knocking off your father. That made you feel responsible for his death, too, so you ran away.
Now, Gertrude's dead. I killed her, too.
You might, but I doubt it. Now, try and remember. Was Owen up here tonight?
I thought I heard his voice, but I hear voices sometimes. I'm hearing it again. Listen. Do you hear anything?
I didn't hear anything but the wind and the beat of the surf at first. But when I did hear the voice, I sent Gabby for a doctor before I investigated. He was pretty badly mangled in the rocks. He'd fallen nearly as far as he'd pushed Gertrude, but was still alive. I made him as comfortable as I could, and finally he opened his eyes.
Hello, Sam.
You messed yourself up good.
Yeah. No more rocks for me.
Not unless you make Alcatraz.
You know, I had half an idea when you came to see me in San Francisco that you were secretly nursing some exceptional, idiotic theory.
Thanks, Owen, but I never had any theory. The whole thing dropped into my lap.
Don't be too sure of that. Understand, at present, I admit nothing. Later on, if I'm forced to, the very number of my crimes will be to my advantage. On the theory that nobody but a lunatic could have committed so many.
Oh, there's not so many. Only Gertrude, your co-author of the murder of the late Edgar Leggett.
Nonsense. Crimes and crimes dating from the cradle. Even literature shall help me.
Not your own books.
Why not? Didn't the critics agree that the spindly stiff bore all the marks of authorial degeneracy? Evidence on to save my sweet neck. And I shall wave my mangled body at them. A ruin whose crimes and high heaven have surely brought sufficient punishment upon it.
Yeah, you'll probably make a go of it. Legally, you're entitled to beat the jump if ever anybody was.
Legally? You mean insane? Tell me the truth, Sam. Am I?
I think that's what they'll say.
But that spoils everything. It's no fun if I'm really cracked. No fun at all.
Period and a report.
Well, it just goes to show, doesn't it?
Now, there you go again, Effie.
I mean, if anything like that happened in real life, you wouldn't believe it.
You mean if anything like that happened in fiction?
Oh, no. The author is never the guilty party.
Well, this author was.
But that's not fair. The author is never supposed to be guilty of...
You're right.
any...
You're right, Effie.
He shouldn't be even a suspect. Maybe a red herring, but...
Type that up, Effie.
Oh, all right, Sam. Anything else, Sam?
Yeah, phone the drugstore and order some red herring. I mean, some aspirin.
More and more folks are turning to famous Wild Root Cream Oil every day. Wild Root Cream Oil gives you all you ever dreamed of in a hair tonic. It grooms your hair neatly and naturally, the way you like it, the way other people like it. What's more, Wild Root Cream Oil relieves dryness and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So join the millions with handsome hair. Tonight, or first thing tomorrow, ask at your drug or toilet goods counter for Wild Root Cream Oil. Also, ask your barber for a professional application. If you've never tried it before, get the generous new 25-cent bottle just introduced. It's Wild Root Cream Oil's Get Acquainted size, and once you've made the acquaintance of Wild Root Cream Oil, you'll find you've made a lifelong friend.
Come on in, Twinkletoes.
Well, here it is, Sam. And I liked it even better than Morgue Fruit.
You did.
I mean, it's not so realistic. I like a romantic type story myself.
You
Lots
do.
of atmosphere and psychology in those.
Oh, you've got to have those.
You really should be a writer, Sam.
You think so?
Of course, detective stories don't pay much.
Oh, that's
But
true.
if you write enough of them, and look at all the material you've got.
No good. Never do for fiction.
But, Sam, there's already that radio series, The Adventures of You-Know-Who, Sunday nights.
That's what I mean. I don't make a penny out of it.
Well, it's your own fault. Sam, I don't want to seem critical, but if you played your cards right, you could have owned a piece of that show.
What? And follow Blondie? Go home, Effie.
I think I will, Sam, and just curl up with a good book.
All right.
I wonder who killed who.
Well, when you find out, don't let me know.
Oh, you know you can't wait.
No, yes, I can.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. The Adventures of Sam Spade are written for radio by Bob Tallman and Gil Dowd. Musical direction is by Lud Gluskin, with score composed by Renee Garrigang. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade, brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. This is Dick Joy reminding you to
get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie, keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Baldy. Get Wild Root right away.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective, brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic, the non-alcoholic hair tonic that contains lanolin. Wild Root Cream Oil, again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
That is the correct answer. You have just won $104 million, 6 deep freeze units, a stable of polo ponies with matching saddle soap, a terry cloth robe with chocolate bars pre-melted into the pockets, and a full-size, real, honest-to-goodness dreadnought, such as is used by Uncle Sam's Navy.
Oh, I'm sorry you'll have to call back. I'm expecting to be taking dictation from my employer very shortly.
Oh, I am sorry. Your time is up. And Edna St. Vincent Markowitz, who sent in the question, gets bumped off in front of the studio audience gathered in the Dredgewood room here in Columbia Square. Next night, don't answer your phone, stupid.
Oh, Sam.
Let's have no coaching, please.
Oh, well, did you find the cup? Was it murder? Was it really worth, well, you know, priceless and like that, and was it fun?
Yes, and no. And finally, are you kidding?
Well, then why was it called the Vaphio cup?
It's a very old Greek expression, which is what I'll be wearing as I sit in your lap dictating my report on the Vaphio cup caper.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. Remember the Romeo of yesteryear? Hair parted in the middle, all plastered down? Man, what a difference today. Today, all a guy has to do to impress a gal is use Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Wild Root Cream Oil grooms the hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose dandruff. If you're still using old-fashioned hair tonics or none at all, then for her sake, spruce up today with Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. In bottles or the handy new tube, it's again and again the choice of men who put good grooming first. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in the adventures of Sam Spade.
Blow the man down, police, blow the man down. Now, why do they want to blow the man down? Date, August 22nd, 1948, to Jethro Chiswick, Esquire.
Oh, spelling, Sam.
E-S-Q-U.
No, Sam, I meant the name. This, Chisro Jethwick.
I did not say Chisro Jethwick. I said Jethro Chithwick. I mean, Chithro... look, we'll check it later.
Oh, Sam, it might... I have an uncle in Berkeley named Smithwick.
Leave your family out of this, Ep.
But he's only by marriage, Sam. It's quite a common name.
Name 3 people named Chiswick.
No, Smithwick, Sam. Now, let's see. There's Uncle George and Aunt Amelia by a previous marriage. Then there's my cousin Rupert on the Christie side.
When you have finished ruminating amongst the foliage of your family tree, Miss Perrine.
Well, I only mentioned it in
All
connection
right,
with that name
we'll
that you
start
thought you...
all over again. Tear out that page.
Yes, Your Highness.
No, please. No need to curtsy. To Jethro Chiswick, no comment, please. From Samuel Spade, license number 1375596. What's that?
Nothing, Sam, nothing. Throat.
Subject, the Vaphio cup caper. Dear Commodore, that's the way I like you. Meek. I had always considered myself fairly well versed in the subject of cups, but if anybody had told me there was such a thing as a Vaphio cup, they could have knocked me over with one, which they did.
Mr. Spade?
Yeah.
I'm Chester A. Brody. I talked with your secretary on the phone. Do you follow?
Oh, yes, Mr. Brody. Sit down. Rest your package.
Thank you. I prefer to hold it for the time being. My card, sir.
Theophilus and Brody, importers and exporters. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Theophilus is my partner, Dmitri Theophilus. You follow?
I follow.
It was Mr. Theophilus who brought the Vaphio cup into the firm. I furnished the cash capital.
Vaphio cup. I do not follow.
Yes, indeed. The only one of these treasures to fall into private hands. One of the fabulous Vaphio cups. Those exquisite and cunningly wrought examples of the art of the ancient Grecian goldsmith, excavated by the great Schliemann from a beehive tomb in Sparta.
Beehive.
Mycenaean age. Just west of the Lion Gate.
Oh, the Lion Gate. Pardon me, Mr. Brody. Are you trying to tell me that this cup is very valuable?
Priceless.
And that you will finally manage to find a buyer?
Do you follow?
And that you want me to deliver that package containing your priceless cup and return with your customer's cash?
Accurately put. I presume you're bonded.
Uncork me and see for yourself.
You are a droll fellow, to be sure.
I had a light breakfast, drolls and coffee. Now, what is this Vaphio cup?
I will show it to you. You are about to see a treasure but few eyes have looked upon in our time, Mr. Spade. The Vaphio cup. Handle it carefully. It's fragile. You could crush it in your hand like so much tinfoil. Yet this golden relic of a golden age has come down through the centuries miraculously unscathed. Note the delicately wrought lines of the bas-relief, the exquisite draperies on the figure of the caryatid, the anguish on the face of the fallen hunter, the sheer brute force of the wild boar charging to the kill. Holding this golden cup in your hands, you encompass 3,000 years. Do you comprehend why there's no question of insurance here?
Frankly, I don't.
My dear man, an item such as this is worth only as much as a collector will pay for it. This particular collector has offered $200,000. It might never be offered again. You follow?
I follow.
Very well. Here's your fee, $100.
I follow.
And here is the address of my client in Los Angeles, Commodore Jethro Chiswick.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
You will take the noon train. Any questions?
Yeah, why can't I go on a plane?
Because I've placed an item in this afternoon's papers to the effect that the treasure is to be transported by plane.
If I were a gonif and I read that item, I'd take the train.
That would be your first thought. Then you would think they're saying they're taking the plane to make me think they're taking the train. Therefore, you would take the plane after all. Oh, would you? If you were really clever, you might say they're taking the plane to make one think it's the train, so I'll take the plane after all, and therefore...
Never mind. By this time, he's decided on the bus. The train is perfectly safe.
You follow?
The package was light in the drawing room, and the train was comfortable. Seemed like an easy way to earn $100. I knew it wouldn't last. Never does. I was prepared for the knock on the door, and I got ready for the inevitable small, dark man who plays the Peter Lorre part, but this one fooled me. He was a tall, thin actor with sandy hair.
Okay, Shamus, hand over the package. You won't be no trouble.
Sure, there it is on the seat. Take it.
Huh?
It's okay. You got me covered. I won't make any move.
Hey, what are you trying to pull?
It's a stick-up, isn't it?
Hey, maybe I got the wrong compartment.
No, that's it. The cup's in there. Unwrap it and see for yourself.
Oh, no, you don't. I ain't picking up no booby traps.
Oh, you're yellow, huh?
I know that one, too. Don't cut no ice with me.
Suit yourself. Game of gin?
Hey, you're nuts. I'm getting out of here.
Hey, wait a minute, pal. I'll buy you a drink.
I don't drink.
Lunch?
In I go.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Spade. I agree. Clarence is a very comical fellow.
So are you.
I took the liberty of stepping into your forecastle whilst you had your bit of raillery in the after companionway with my mate, dear Clarence. You mind?
Not at all.
Well, sir, I'm afraid you're going to mind a great deal.
Oh!
And that's how I met you, Commodore. I was so busy sizing up the .45 in your right hand that I didn't even notice when you left, whipped out of your coat pocket with one of the largest saps I have ever felt. The next time I saw light, you were gone, the Vaphio cup was gone, and the train was pulling into San Jose. I got off, rode back to San Francisco with a truckload of chickens, and headed straight for my client's apartment.
You got here quick.
Yeah,
Come in.
thanks. Well,
Well, what?
look, we can't both play this deadpan. We'll stay no place.
It's in the back room.
What is?
The body. You're from the police, aren't you?
I'm a private dick.
How dare you?
Hey, what was that for?
For spying on me. You and all the other cheap gumshoes my husband hires.
You're Mrs. Brody?
I'm Enid Theophilus. Did my husband hire you?
My name is Sam Spade. I was hired by one Chester A. Brody, your husband's business partner.
Well, Sam, I hope he paid you in advance, because he's the body.
Chester A. Brody was just barely identifiable. Somebody had worked hard trying to persuade him to say or do something he either couldn't or wouldn't do. The only interesting clue was in the wastebasket. At first, I thought it was a flattened beer can. But it was the Vaphio cup, or a facsimile thereof.
Well, how do you like it, Sam?
I don't. He was my client. I wasn't hired to protect him. I didn't like him, but he was my client.
How would you like me for a client?
I'll give you the name of a lawyer, sister.
My name is Enid.
Enid? Now, let's see what I can squeeze out of you before the cops do. Brody was your husband's business partner, and you're,
You don't have to be subtle. He was mad about me. I'm all broken up about his death.
So was he.
That wasn't funny.
That time I deserved it.
You don't like me, do you?
Can't you get it through that steel-jacketed brain of yours that you're in bad trouble, that there's a dead man in the next room, beaten to death, and you're not supposed to be here?
Oh, I was supposed to be here. We were going to elope as soon as you brought back the money from that, Greek thing.
Yeah, what about that Greek thing?
It was an antique. It was called the Vaphio cup.
Yes, I know about that.
Yes, well, my husband dug it up in Greece and smuggled it into the country.
Yeah?
It was all he had, but it was such an important piece that he was able to persuade Chet, the late Chester Brody, that is, to let him in as a full partner.
Then what?
Well, they quarreled. My husband made some bad investments, and Chet wanted to sell the cup to save the firm. Dmitri refused. I didn't think it was fair, so I got the keys to his safety deposit box where the cup was, and Chet arranged to sell it to the Commodore. Did you get the money from the Commodore?
All I got from the Commodore was lumps.
He stole the cup?
Roger.
You've got to get it back.
I've got it.
Where?
Here, take a look.
Oh, it's ruined. Where did you find it?
In a trash basket where it belongs.
Dmitri did it. He must have suspected something and substituted a fake. That's it. He knows where the real one is.
Somebody thought that your boyfriend knew.
The one that killed him?
That's the way it looks. And maybe that's the way it was meant to look. You know, somebody might get the idea that you palmed the genuine when you got it out of that safety deposit box.
If I did, it was legal, and don't you forget it. A wife can't steal from her husband. Legally, they're one person. You can't steal from yourself. That's the law.
I was wrong. You don't need a lawyer.
Will you help me?
I may hurt you, and it'll cost you anyway.
I know what's good for me. Money. Find that cup.
I know what's good for me, too, so I took her $100, advised her to go home, and made for my own humble lodging. They were not only humble, they were crowded. The man was small, but the gun was enormous. I said, don't bother to introduce yourself. Your name is Dmitri Theopolis, and you want this package that I'm carrying.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Here's important news on good grooming. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the generous new 25-cent size of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. And now, back to the Vaphio Cup Caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
He didn't answer me, so I said it again. Don't bother to introduce yourself. Your name is Dmitri Theophilus, and you want this package that I'm carrying.
Of that be assured. You obtained this from my dear wife. And how did you find my darling?
Not at the city pound, surprisingly enough.
Oh, you know my dear wife. How soon you know my darling so well, more than I her husband? Is it possible?
I don't know, is it?
I don't know either. I employ a detective.
Not this one.
I have need. My poor partner, Mr. Brody. You are interested?
If you are interesting about who killed your partner, that's one thing. But if you want somebody to dig out your family secrets, that is nothing. With me, you are, shall we say, no place.
But why don't I get the right to know? There'll be no trouble, no scandal, no divorcement suing. Of that be assured. Even poor Chester is dead, so he's what one calls ancient history. While he lived, I knew nothing. I was blind. After he died, I see certain things.
Yeah, well, do you see that maybe your wife had a hand in Brody's death? What then?
Well, if it so happens that you cannot separate my darling from that, do you follow?
Not quite.
I'm not an old man,
Well, I wouldn't
but
say
my
that.
dear wife is but 22 and a truly lovely person.
Yeah, she's all right.
Would it not be the part of husbandly wisdom to have, shall I say, a hold over her?
If she's guilty, you won't need it.
Good. Please, I cannot hold the gun and handle my wallet at the same time. Please.
No, thanks. You keep the gun. I'll take the wallet.
Oh, you trust me. You will work for me.
Yeah, I'll work for anybody. Here, I left your cab fare.
Oh, assuredly, you are so very kind.
Oh, I'm not so
Now
kind.
the package, yes?
No.
Then I don't hesitate to suit you.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yes?
This is the fake. You sure you want this?
Assuredly, yes.
A man has already been killed for it. Your life's a high price to pay for a fake, though fancy, tin cup.
You still think that's the price?
Brother, I know it.
Then you know I will kill you for it.
Okay, if it means that much to you, and I guess it does, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. Please remain where you are. If you follow me, I will surely suit you.
From my front window, I watched them come out downstairs and start across the street. Then it happened. I saw the gun flash as it fired, and Theophilus slumped to the pavement. The package slid away from him into the gutter. I beat it down to him. He'd taken all 3 pellets in the midsection from close range. His pulse fluttered once or twice and then stopped. When I went to look for the package, it wasn't there. I called homicide and waited until they took him away. When I told Lieutenant Dundee what I had in mind, he congratulated me on my brilliant scheme and told me to go ahead with it. That was his mistake. I even talked him out of assigning any of his harness men to watch my building for the next couple of hours. That was my mistake. I went upstairs, opened a bottle, and waited for your knock on my door, Commodore.
Well, sir, a man would almost think you expected us. Keep a weather eye on him, Clarence. Don't let him get lured.
Aye, sir.
Welcome aboard.
No time for scuttlebutt, Mr. Spade. We are bound for Bullylong Bali on the MacArthur Maru, sailing at dawn. I want that cup. The true, the genuine, the Vaphio cup. No more deceptions, no more trickery. You will hand it over without further delay.
Sure. Be glad to.
Oh, no, not like that. You will tell Clarence where it is stowed, and Clarence will fetch it above decks.
Why, you old barnacle. Theophilus never had his mitts on a genuine Vaphio cup.
Bilge water, sir. When Theophilus landed in San Francisco, he didn't have a farthing. Now he owes $500,000. If he hadn't got the genuine cup, how could he have borrowed all that money?
Because a bunch of morons like you believed he had it.
Blast my binnacles, man. You sound as though you believed what you're saying.
Look, Commodore, you're interested in high finance. How did Ivor Kruger make his millions?
Why, matches. He was the match king, sir.
Matches had nothing to do with it, Commodore. He started out with $15 million worth of phony government bonds that he printed himself. Follow? They weren't even good counterfeits, but he was smart enough not to try and cash them. He just kept them in a safety deposit box and borrowed money. Theophilus used his phony Vaphio cup the same way.
Blast my binnacles, man. You sound as though you believe what you're saying.
That has a familiar ring to it. I do. And I'll tell you why. He knew that was the fake in the package when he held me up for it. he was willing to risk his own life to get it out of circulation.
Dash my timbers. Old Theophilus has left us without a shot in the locker. You steered us onto the shoals. We're on our beam ends.
Hey, turn them off, Commodore. You're pumping bilge flush. We better haul our wind.
Yes, indeed. I'm afraid it's getting rather warm in San Francisco. Bullylong beckons.
You won't make it past the potato patch.
What?
The cops are going to want some answers about a couple of stiffs you left behind in San Francisco.
I'm glad you reminded me.
Shall I plug him?
No, we're taking him with us.
Oh, that's what you think.
Take it easy, mate. This ain't gonna hurt a bit.
A reek of chloroform filled the room, and a fist pounded into my belly. It knocked my wind out, and at the same time, my nose collided with something wet and cold. I swung out, but didn't connect. Before I could swing again, the room blurred, and a ceiling light floated down to meet me. Then the lights went out altogether. At first, I couldn't figure it. It sounded like what a doctor hears through a stethoscope, or maybe an earthquake, or maybe ship engines, which it turned out to be. When the lights came on again, I was lying on a bunk in a stateroom. I staggered across to the wash basin and splashed water in my face.
Hello, you.
Enid, as I hardly live and breathe.
It could get worse.
Yeah, where are we?
Oh, not very far out. Not past the Farallon.
Good. I'm a stowaway, and they'll put me off with the pilot.
Oh, no, you're not. Your passage is paid.
Mine? It is, huh?
It is. Do you know who you are?
Who am I?
Chester Brody.
Then I'm dead. They'll bury me at sea.
Roger.
Who are you?
I'm your widow.
What's the score, widow?
Chester and I booked passage on this ship a week ago. It was part of the plan. Chester and the Commodore worked it all out.
Yeah, the cup was to have been stolen from me on the train.
Yes, but when the Commodore discovered it was a fake, everything fell to pieces.
Yeah, he thought Chester was double-crossing him.
They forced Chet to talk. He told them Dmitri still had the genuine Vaphio cup and had hired you for the double cross. Maybe he really believed it. Anyway, they killed Dmitri.
Yeah, well, there's nothing on them yet. But you're a material witness, sweetheart, to at least one of the killings. That's extraditable. When that dawns on them, they'll scuttle you, too.
It's already dawned on them. I'm desperate.
Yes, I notice. For you, you're practically hysterical.
We have to face facts.
Yeah, well, give me a couple to face right now. Where are the Commodore and Clarence?
Up on the bridge.
Good. All you have to do is walk straight up to the captain. He'll put him under arrest.
Well, that might be a good idea, darling, only...
Only what?
Only the Commodore is the captain.
That torrid. Your salty talk had fooled me, Commodore. I never dreamed that you were really an old sea dog, and I do mean dog. But two can play at that game. From my own intimate knowledge of sea story magazines, I realized that all hands would be turned to on the cargo gear, and the crew quarters would be, therefore, empty. In more time than it takes to tell, Enid and I had fitted ourselves out in dungarees, jumpers, and watch caps, and turned to with them.
Stand by the coming lift, gear out on the hill! You to hell, no! You there, stop walking up the bus behind there! You two, look alive, stow that preventer!
Oh, me? You may recall, Commodore, you may recall me as the man who ran for a fire extinguisher when the bosun yelled, stow the preventer. But experience is the best teacher, and by the time we hove to put the pilot over the side, things were in such a state of confusion that you had retreated to your cabin with a quadruple ration of grog. Seizing that moment, I threw Enid over the side, yelled, man overboard, and jumped in after her. Once safely aboard the pilot schooner, we revealed our true identity, and a merry laugh was enjoyed by all. It dropped us at the foot of Market, and we waved warm farewells to our erstwhile rescuers, then to the snug haven of my office in a friendly cup, if you'll pardon the expression, in the grateful warmth of a gas radiator.
Unhealthy.
Who, me?
Gas fumes. Why don't you move into a building with steam heat?
I like this building. Yeah, I've been here for a long time.
You don't make much money, do you?
You don't have to rub it in. It's a living.
You happy?
Sure I am. I guess.
Well, I guess it's all right then.
You know, sweetheart, there's something missing in you.
Oh? What?
Well, I don't know.
Then how do you know?
Forget it.
Well, I guess I'll go.
Do you mind if I don't see you to the door?
Why should I? What?
Hey, you are human. Yeah, they're wet. Go ahead, sweetheart. Cry all you want to. It's been tough. You shouldn't have kept it bottled up this long.
No, it's not what you think.
Well, what is it?
It's you. You're so nice.
I'm nice.
Yeah, but you're no place. You never will be. And neither will I.
And that, Commodore, is the cargo. It was nice seeing you again down at the hall. They tell me you and Clarence are both trying to turn state's evidence. But according to the late bulletins, Clarence was leading by a neck in the stretch. Get it? The DA was afraid the jury might not understand your salty talk. Period. End of sea chanty.
Oh, Sam.
Yes, what?
Oh, Sam.
Hmm?
Well, I just can't.
Why can't you? Are you feeling okay, F?
Oh, Sam.
Hmm?
You betrayed your trust. You...
Effie, speak to me. What is it? What is it? I betrayed my trust. What?
Well, those criminals were on that boat.
Yes?
And you jumped overboard.
You feel that I was recalcitrant? Is that it? That my actions were not true blue, clear cut? Is that it?
Oh, I'll just go type this up, and I'm sure you can explain. I hope you can. I hope.
Sour racket.
Question. What's the easiest and best way there is to give your hair that well-groomed look? Answer, Wild Root Cream Oil. Yes, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil with soothing lanolin gives you the advantages considered most important in a hair tonic. It grooms your hair neatly and naturally, relieves annoying dryness, removes loose, ugly dandruff. Call at your drug or toilet goods counter tonight or first thing tomorrow for Wild Root Cream Oil. If you've never tried it before, get the generous new 25-cent bottle just introduced. Also, ask your barber for a professional application of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first.
Oh, here it is, Sam. I hope the spelling is all right. I was so upset.
You hate me then?
Oh, no. I suppose it's foolish going along thinking that your ideal doesn't have feet of clay. Oh, Sam, I just can't imagine.
Don't you think I can explain, F?
Oh, yes, I'm sure you can explain. But you did. You deserted your post and jumped overboard like a thinking rat.
That's right.
Oh, Sam, that's so unlike you. It was just by chance they were apprehended.
By chance, you say? Who do you think it was that got himself shot out of a torpedo tube in that submarine?
You, Sam?
No, you think I'm crazy? I did something few radio detectives ever do, sweetheart. I called the Harbor Patrol single-handed using only one nickel and had them picked up.
Oh, Sam, I wish I'd been there.
Well, it was just a small phone booth. Besides, if you'd been there, it would have been out of order or something.
Oh, Sam, you came through after all.
Aren't you ashamed that you ever doubted me?
Yes, I am. I'm a fool.
There. I forgive you.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. The Adventures of Sam Spade are written for radio by Bob Tallman and Gil Dowd. Musical direction is by Lud Gluskin with score composed by Rene Garrigang. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. This is Dick Joy reminding you to
get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie, keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Baldy. Get Wild Root right away.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.